What constitutes sensitive personal data under Colombian law? A. Any data related to racial origin. B. Public data. C. Semi-private data. D. Data related to commercial activity. Correct answer. A. Any data related to racial origin. What is the role of the Superintendents of Industry and Commerce, SIC, in Colombia's data protection framework? A. Developing data protection policies. B. Overseeing the national defense. C. Providing data processing services. D. Regulating and enforcing data protection compliance. Correct answer. D. Regulating and enforcing data protection compliance. What type of consent is required for processing personal data according to Law 1581 of 2012? A. Written consent. B. Implied consent. C. Explicit consent. D. No consent needed. Correct answer. C. Explicit consent. Under Colombian law, when can sensitive personal data be processed without consent? A. In any situation if it benefits the data controller. B. When it involves public data. C. Under specific exceptions defined by law. D. If the data subject is a minor. Correct answer. C. Under specific exceptions defined by law. What penalties can the SIC impose for non-compliance with data protection laws? A. Public commendation. B. Fines and suspension of data processing activities. C. Mandatory data processing courses. D. Community service. Correct answer. B. Fines and suspension of data processing activities. How does Colombian law regulate the international transfer of personal data? A. It encourages unrestricted data flow. B. It prohibits any international data transfer. C. It allows transfer to countries with adequate protection levels. D. It requires data localization. Correct answer. C. It allows transfer to countries with adequate protection levels. What rights do data subjects have under Law 1581 of 2012? A. The right to speed up data processing. B. The right to access, correct, update, or delete their personal data. C. The right to share personal data without restriction. D. The right to process data without consent. Correct answer. B. The right to access, correct, update, or delete their personal data. What type of data is considered public under Colombian data protection law? A. Financial data. B. Data related to a person's social security status. C. Data contained in public records. D. Sensitive personal data. Correct answer. C. Data contained in public records. In what context is Statutory Law 1266 of 2008 applicable? A. In all contexts of personal data processing. B. Specifically in the processing of financial, credit, and commercial data. C. Only in the processing of sensitive personal data. D. In data processing by non-profit organizations. Correct answer. B. Specifically in the processing of financial, credit, and commercial data. What constitutes adequate levels of protection for the international transfer of data according to Colombian law? A. Any country outside Colombia. B. Countries listed by the SIC as having adequate protection. C. All countries within South America. D. Any country with any form of data protection law. Correct answer. B. Countries listed by the SIC as having adequate protection. What obligations do data controllers have towards data subjects under Colombian law? A. To inform data subjects about data breaches only. B. To ensure data is processed lawfully and transparently. C. To transfer data internationally without consent. D. To use data for marketing purposes only. Correct answer. B. To ensure data is processed lawfully and transparently. What is the legal basis for processing sensitive personal data in Colombia? A. The data subject's explicit consent or specific legal exceptions. B. The interests of the data controller. C. The necessity for public service provision. D. Automatic consent by using a service. Correct answer. A. The data subject's explicit consent or specific legal exceptions. How does Law 1581 of 2012 define personal data? A. Information relating to natural persons. B. Data that is available in public directories. C. Information that can be used for direct marketing. D. Any data collected by financial institutions. Correct answer. A. Information relating to natural persons. What is required for the lawful processing of children's data under Colombian law? A. Consent from the child only. B. Consent from both parents or legal guardians. C. Approval from the SIC. D. No consent is required. Correct answer. B. Consent from both parents or legal guardians. How are data controllers and processes differentiated in Colombia's data protection law? A. By their role in deciding the purpose and means of data processing. B. by their financial capacity. C. By the volume of data they handle. D. By their geographic location. Correct answer: A. By their role in deciding the purpose and means of data processing. What mechanisms does Colombian law provide for data subjects to enforce the data protection rights? A. Only through private arbitration. B. Through judicial and administrative actions. C. Direct negotiation with the data controller. D. Through public protests. Correct answer: B. Through judicial and administrative actions. Under what conditions can personal data be deleted according to Colombian data protection law? A. Upon request by the data subject at any time. B. After a fixed period of 10 years. C. When it is no longer necessary for the purposes for which it was collected. D. Only if the data is inaccurate. Correct answer: C. When it is no longer necessary for the purposes for which it was collected. How does Colombian law address the issue of data security? A. By specifying detailed technical security measures. B. Through general guidelines on data protection. C. By requiring data encryption only. D. It leaves data security to the discretion of data controllers. Correct answer: B. Through general guidelines on data protection. What does the Colombian Constitution say about the right to privacy and habeas data? A. It mentions them as fundamental rights. B. It suggests them as optional rights. C. It only acknowledges them in the context of digital data. D. It does not recognize these rights. Correct answer: A. It mentions them as fundamental rights. How does the appointment of data protection officers, DPOs, fit into Colombia's data protection regime? A. It is mandatory for all businesses. B. It is a recommendation but not a requirement. C. Required for data controllers that process sensitive data. D. Only required for public sector entities. Correct answer: C. Required for data controllers that process sensitive data.